Viewer discretion advised. Hello everyone, welcome to my freak show. Let's review episode 3 of American Horror Story 1984 titled Slash Dance. Now, you'll excuse me if I can't really talk through this episode because I'm choking on this huge sandwich that AHS made me. Would you like some? There's plenty, you know. Now, in this episode, we're still in the same night. And if this entire season becomes one long dark night, I'm gonna freaking love it even more. At the infirmary, Ramirez is trying to literally tear the house down, trying to get to the little counselors inside. Brooke is actually being logical and intelligent. She tells Chet, Ray, and Rita that there's 4 of them and only one Ramirez. And this gives Ray the inspiration to give a final guy speech before agreeing with Brooke and killing Ramirez and saving the whole camp from death. Just kidding, y'all. Ray ran like a little bitch, leaving the rest of them for dead, while inadvertently running directly into Ramirez's path. That was pretty hilarious. But before Ramirez could rip Ray to shreds, Chet saves the day by bum rushing Ramirez and helping Ray to escape. Aw, I love what you did there, Chet, but you really should have left Ray to the shredder. Back with Trevor, Xavier, and Montana, they're not really being chased by Mr. Jingles. It's just some townies dressed up as him to scare the new camp counselors. But their laughter is cut short when the real Jingles arrives and kills his imposters. Oh, where are you going over there, Trent?
Go now. He's in the parking lot. Go.
Oh, no problem. I'm sure Mr. Jingles never heard you shout where you were going. Back to Rita, Brooke, Chet, and Ray. The guys are caught in a trap laid by one of our killers. And naturally, the girls leave the guys in the dust to fend for themselves despite their screams. Now, while Ray is uninjured, Chet has fallen on a wooden stake and is still alive. Ray tries to help him by way of pure ignorance and surprisingly fails at acquiescing Chet's request for help. But, of course, no worries, Chet. Ray's gonna keep you company with his backstory from last summer, guys, and this is where shit gets a little crazy. Ray did not attend the same fraternity as Kyle from Coven, but he has the same frat boy, Kyle Spencer mentality. And I don't want to get into the specifics regarding the hazing in this episode because I simply can't relate to demeaning men and women just simply for a laugh. So long story short, a pledge that Ray and his brothers were hazing fell down the stairs at the frat house and everybody thought he died. Ray sadly didn't have the sense to check the poor kid's pulse and just assumed he was dead. So when the poor kid woke up right as Ray was sending his body over a cliff, he clung to Ray, taking valuable incriminating evidence with him. Now, sadly, Ray says that the police found the car, and he knew it was only a matter of time before they connected him to the crime. So he fled LA to the camp before the cops could find him first. But Ray's backstory is cut short when Chet acknowledges that he was awake and actually heard his confession. Now, Chet begs Ray to help him. Don't leave him there to die. And guys, this is when it happens. This is when Ray finally steps up and saves his friend from certain death. I'm just kidding, y'all. Ray jumped the fuck out of that hole like his ass was on fire and abandoned Chet like a little bitch. As for Rita and Brooke, Rita offers to stay behind to wait for the others, giving Brooke the keys to her car so she can escape and call the police. But surprise, bitch! Rita comes up from behind Brooke and knocks her taut, firm butt full of horse tranquilizers or whatever she thought she gave her. When Brooke comes to, Rita reveals to Brooke that she isn't really Rita the RN. Her real name is Donna Chambers, a student of psychology / mine hunter looking to find out what made Benjamin jingle. Now, 1 week prior to the counselors arriving to the camp, Donna is granted an interview with Mr. Jingles. And in this episode, we have another scene with someone trying to gain the trust of a killer with Donna and Benjamin. She gives him the idea to break out of the hospital and go back to the camp to kill Margaret so she can study him in his natural habitat, and all for the sake of stopping violence, preventing other serial killers from starting. Though we know Donna has her reasons, and I can't wait to find out what they are, but they have not been revealed yet as to why Donna has a thing against Margaret. And we also get to see the real nurse Rita and how Donna abducted her and taking her place at the camp. The whole thing within the back seat with the man-eater song. Oh my God, that was a great scene. Now, back with Montana, Trevor, and Xavier. They're at the boathouse. And I have to say just how much this season feels like the game Friday the 13th, which is a game that I absolutely adore playing with my children. The small band of Scooby Gang stops to discuss grabbing Margaret and Bertie on the way out, and Montana just ain't down with that. Now, can I just add how much I'm enjoying Matthew Morrison's character this season? His character is hot and confident, but he also has a conscience. That's some deep shit. And if it were possible for me to feel anything, I would totally be crying right now. The sound of jingling sends them scurrying into the boathouse, but there's no mice where they're going. Inside the boathouse, they find the real Rita tied up and covered. So Xavier and Montana do the right thing and untie her. However, when they rip off the tape covering her mouth, she screams and draws the attention of Mr. Jingles. Now, despite their pleas for her to stay quiet, poor Rita is just way too scared and traumatized after Donna abducted her that she doesn't have one fuck to spare when it comes to listening to Xavier and Montana. So she escapes from the people who helped her and right into the guy that killed her. And I don't care who you are. Poor Rita is the best kill of the season so far. Look at the gore, all the details and the graphics, and so highly reminiscent of the way that my counselor ended up when I played Friday the 13th, the game. I mean, I love the way Cody trembled and that lone tear ran down his face after that happened to Rita. Damn, he's such a good actor. I mean, and sadly though, none of them wait very long before they come out of their hiding places, but I mean, I guess it's okay because Mr. Jingle hobbled away pretty damn quickly, even though it took him almost an entire scene to get into the boathouse. But then they observed the best kill of the season so far. And is that Shelby's necklace on the real Rita's neck? I wonder if that's worthy of a theory. Now back to Ray. He's running like a frightened little bitch through the forest when he comes across Trevor, Xavier, and Montana. He lies like a little bitch about Chet, saying that he lost him in the woods and hid for a while. Now, this is when they tell Ray about finding the real Rita, and Montana, who suddenly just doesn't give a shit for anybody except herself, suddenly worries about the fact that Brooke is with the fake Rita. Now, Ray just doesn't give a shit about anyone, and he refuses to go back to the camp, so Trevor hands over his keys to the bike and tells Ray to take Montana and drive the bike to the call box down the road, and call the police while Trevor and Xavier get Margaret and Bertie and meet them all back at the parking lot. Now, meanwhile, Chet is literally marked for death, but is saved by Xavier and Trevor before Mr. Jingles arrives. And I gotta ask, in the comments, let me know, guys, does anyone else think that Xavier is totally giving off Andrew McCarthy vibes? I'm so loving it. Trevor is determined to strike back against Mr. Jingles. So when Mr. Jingles is looking over the pit that he made, Trevor comes up and pushes him into it, impaling him below. And the men celebrate their victory, but it is short when they realize that they have pushed the wrong Jingles into the pit. And I think that most fans knew that that was coming, that was not Mr. Jingles and that was probably some townie. So you guys were definitely right. Now, one thing fans did not see coming was Richard Ramirez confronting Montana and Ray as they've made it back to the parking lot. Poor Montana looks exactly like my husband when I get into the driver's side of our van, confused and scared as all hell over what's going to possibly happen. Now, before she knows it, Ray jumps in front of Montana before Ramirez can kill her, and finally, I mean, I know I joked before, but finally becomes the hero we all knew that Ray could be. I'm just totally kidding, guys. Ray ran like a little bitch for the third time of the episode. And this was my second favorite scene as Ray literally took off on Trevor's bike, leaving Montana to die. But don't fret, fans. Ray is rewarded for his efforts with an axe to the face from Mr. Jingles. Yeah, that was a great one. I liked how his little body and the motorcycle just fell over after that. That was just so great. Back to Montana. She surprises the fuck out of all of us when she makes out with Ramirez and asks him why he hasn't killed Brooke yet. And that closes out Slashdance, episode 3 of American Horror Story 1984. Now, this episode was superior, in my humble opinion, and I rated a 9.9. I simply love the actors this season, guys. Coupled with all the incredible acting, the fantastic cinematography, This season is quickly becoming my favorite, and y'all know that Hotel is my favorite season, and no one can dethrone my Hotel. But freaking 1984 is a strong contender right now. Cody Fern is astounding. I'm loving Matthew Morrison and Angelica Ross's addition to the show. And the ladies are finally portrayed as smart, capable women who don't cry or faint at the mention of distress. And as a matter of fact, Ray is the one running around the forest, being a coward and running around like a little bitch. It's actually kind of nice how they change things. And all of the 80s pop culture references thrown into all of this is making a perfect season for me. And I truly, truly feel bad for those who aren't giving this season a chance. And I'm going to take 30 seconds to give a shout out to the people who are literally keeping my channel going. My patrons: Murder Motel, Alicia, Mia, and baby Jalen George, Diana Fitzgerald, Danny Laguerra, No Tell Hotel, Irish Melly, Michael Mullins Wright, Dawn Ford, Miss Bellatrixa, Jill Post, Kimberly Brodno. Kimberly, I apologize if I said your name wrong, honey. Please forgive me. Bianca Spooks, Mike Gedney, Andrew Venom, Kevin Odom, Stephen Wessel, Deep Thinker and Hogwarts Pupil, and of course, Debbie Ebby Babebby. To become a patron and earn tons of rewards just for $1, click on the link in the description. Even my patrons right now are getting American Horror Story weekly Wednesday live streams for just $1. Next week, we'll get more backstories, and our 2 serial killers will finally meet face to face. It's gonna be like the next Clegane Bowl, y'all, and I'm so ready for it. I'm more than pleased with episode 3, so let me know what you rate episode 3 in the comments, and what are your thoughts on the episode. If you liked my review and synopsis, then click the like button, or you can take it one step further and become a patron. For just $1, you can get exclusive live streams, videos, and exclusive looks at my content. Links are in the description. Beyond the Horror, my unofficial AHS 1984 after show, is every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, immediately following the newest episode of AHS. And of course, guys, don't forget the costume contest in my group, The Freaks of AHS. Best costume wins a $20 Amazon gift card, and there is more than 15 ways to win a card. And I'm always making theory videos, so click that subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, beware of the tearjerker watching our girl's sexy scathach.
If you're curious to see, pull the tricks out of my sleeve. All you find is yours to keep.
It's me, Matt.